ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the ESO Cast, your Elder Scrolls Online podcast. It is Friday, March the 8th, 2013. My name is Dennis Force Duhamel. I'm joined once again by Jesse Cox. Hello, Jesse.
Hello, Dennis. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. We are just a few weeks away. We'll be talking about it in our first topic, but we're just a few weeks away from potentially getting to play the Elder Scrolls Online.
I hope.
That's an exciting proposition. I think this is gonna be especially exciting too, and I guess we'll just hop right into it. So here's the news. There are going to have, I guess we'll call it a playable demo of the Elder Scrolls Online at this year's PAX East event in Boston, which is just a little over 2 weeks away from now, and they haven't really said too much in terms of what we're going to be able to play, just that the game is going to be playable in one form or another. So this should be really, really exciting. I'll be interested to know. And I know, Jesse, that you're going to be going. I'm going to be trying to make it to the event as well. I'll be interested to see if they're going to be showing off the same thing that they showed at the press event that you went to in the past, or if this is going to be something entirely new. But like I said, they really haven't gone into specifics as to what it is, and I can pull up the article here. So yeah, play ESO at PAX East. There's going to be a playable version of the game. We're going to get some hands-on time with it. And yeah, I guess that's really, really exciting. Beyond that, also, I mean, I guess we've got the beta that's also supposed to be starting at the end of this month as well. So one way or the other, we're going to play some Elder Scrolls Online very, very soon.
I would assume whatever's at PAX is not the same.
Yeah.
I would hope it's updated. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right.
But I also think that a lot of the same mechanics that I saw will probably still be in place. It just might look a little more polished. And we'll probably see some things that I wasn't allowed to see because they weren't done yet. But I think they'll try and show off the exact same things that I saw before.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. Show off some of the core mechanics, get a little bit of combat in there, maybe some group play as well. And beyond actually getting to play, there's also going to be opportunities for people to chat with the development team. So beyond what they show, we'll probably get to talk about some upcoming features or stuff that they've got planned as well. And I would hope, I mean, this would seem like the perfect venue for them to potentially show something new as well, or something that we haven't already seen before. Whether it be some actual PvP combat in Cyrodiil, or if they're just going to show some of the new varying starting zones, that'd be exciting as well. I think everyone is in agreement with me that I want to see something new. It's been a while since we've actually seen any fresh footage of the game, so.
I guess it's one of those things where I agree. I want to see something new, but I also want whatever we see to be something worth seeing. Like, I don't want to see new stuff, but it be old hat, if that makes any sense.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot to this game, a lot more than what they've already discussed. So hopefully some of that fresh information gets brought out there at this year's event. And yeah, that's my hope. That's keeping my fingers crossed that that's what's going to take place, because I'm tired of wallpapers and screenshots. I want some good new footage of the game. That'd be great. Okay, so besides that, we also talked recently about, and I think it was on the last podcast, we were talking about the food truck tour that they're going to be having coinciding with the convention tour that they're taking throughout the course of this year. Well, we actually have the menu now. So there's going to be real food, Jesse. They are serving real food.
I was not expecting that. This is an entirely wonderful thing.
So it got posted up on the Elder Scrolls Online Facebook page, the menu for the food truck, and we'll show it to you here. So there's going to be, it's real food, but they're giving it Elder Scrolls themed named. For example, there's the Fire Petal Dip, which is a spicy marinara sauce. The Emperor's Garden, a chef's pesto sauce. I love pesto. Tomato Mammoth, which is Bolognese sauce. Bolognese.
Bolognese. That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, there you go.
Yep.
Cork bulb crisps, which are kettle chips. Tangy root, nin root, which are just pickles. And then here's a good one. Alocasia fruit juice, which is just a fruit punch spritzer.
Here's the thing. It says it's a food truck, and it'll be in Austin, and all this stuff. But
yeah, starting off in Austin, Texas, this upcoming Sunday.
It says check out the menu, but it doesn't. Here's the thing: is I am. I just.
What?
don't
What's got you
quite
tied up?
imagine-
I'm surprised there are no alcoholic beverages here. To be honest with you.
There's nothing that tells you what it is. Like, all right, I get one is grilled cheese, right?
Yeah.
But then the next 3 listings are sauces.
Well, you don't
Is
have
that on a sandwich?
Grilled-
What kind of sandwich?
grilled
is
cheese-
Is that with meat? Is it with grilled cheese? Does it come like there's something missing here that I don't quite? I'm like, what are they trying to serve?
maybe just a grilled cheese and sauce. Grilled cheese
Maybe that's what you get. You get grilled cheese and then one of 3 sauces. Deal with it.
And pickles and a fruit spritzer.
And a fruit spritzer. That's right.
That's an eclectic combination of food. I don't think I
They're
would.
missing out. They are missing out because they're starting too early. I think if they started at PAX Prime in August, when everyone is in Seattle, Washington. Washington, if you're unaware, they have legalized marijuana. I feel like that's the perfect place to have a food truck. You put that outside, you will run out of food in like 20 minutes. People will be like, that was the best truck here, man!
It's all comfort food too, you know, grilled cheese sandwiches. It's got
and sauces.
some pickles. Pickles? Do people really just eat pickles just straight up?
I'm letting you know now. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get a pickle. I'm going to get a pickle and be like, I want a pickle.
I don't think pickles are that good. I'll have a pickle with something. I don't want to eat just a pickle.
You're missing out.
Pickles and spicy marinara sauce, maybe. Maybe that's a combination.
I can't believe I was really shocked when I found out they were actually serving food. I thought it was going to be a food, like an Elder Scrolls food truck that had like shirts and swag in it.
Right.
It was just, like it was a food truck that they just drove around, but it had other crap in it besides food. They are legit serving food, which is all sorts of funny. I was unaware of that.
Still, I think they're missing a key demographic here in not
Stoners.
serving skooma. I think.
Oh, that's true.
There should be.
Get them. You know what they could do to make skooma? You remember those like lick pop things where you got the stick and the bag was like a pack of sugar.
Oh,
and you licked
God.
it and dipped it in there. It was like kid crack. I'm telling you, if they made skooma that was that, it would go over so well at every convention.
That's
like
too
kids
funny.
would be walking around with their skooma just like. I'm telling you.
You know, as a kid, I love stuff like that, or the crackle pop things you'd put in your mouth, but just thinking of that stuff now makes me almost vomit. That's just.
Oh, what about what was that? The rock, not rock candy. Although rock candy might be a good skooma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure what skooma is exactly because it keeps the image of it keeps changing. So I assume there's multiple levels of skooma.
It's a narcotic of sorts, I guess.
Well, yes, but I mean, like visually, what skooma looks like.
Sure. Yeah, I don't
Right?
know. I always thought of it just as a straight up beverage, but maybe I'm ill informed.
Someone in chat mentioned Pop Rocks. That might be a good skooma.
Yeah.
Ooh, see.
Maybe,
Cinemax, get on it.
maybe they have to deal with.
Hand it out. Just have people walk around as Elder Scrolls characters, handing out. Oh, look! Find a bunch of furries to dress up as
Oh my
Khajiit
God.
and hand out skooma. Hand out Pop Rock skooma. Oh my God, that would be it. That would be all the promotion you need to do.
Oh my God, I couldn't handle it. Furries alone are enough to drive me up the wall, let alone pop rocks.
I'm telling you, you'd always know where they were.
Yeah.
If they'd have giant fur outfits like I am a Khajiit. That's my Khajiit voice. Hire me, Cinemax.
That's got it.
I am a Khajiit. What do I Khajiit? Hey, okay.
You sound like What region are you from? What is with the Khajiit accent?
I am from the New Jersey region of Tamriel.
But I think
right up in there.
I'm trying to think of. I can't recall what they in Skyrim. I always thought they sounded like gypsy. They always seem like gypsies to me.
Oh, yeah,
Is that what they're supposed to be?
They have that weird sort of like, why do I talk like this?
Yeah, right.
That's the voice they use.
Yeah.
I know you are the school bus, right? But I just made it better by making them from New Jersey. Hey, what are you gonna do? I'm a freaking cat.
That's too funny. Well, they go from being
lady.
They go from being the shady character that's gonna rob you to like sounding like a mob member that you're doing it.
Well, same thing, really.
Equally terrified of both. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's it's cool. There's going to be actual food. I'm sure absurdly priced, but food will be available in the vein of the Elder Scrolls Online. And again, this is going to kind of go hand in hand with the convention tour that they're doing from this year. I do believe one of the stops planned was PAX East, so we might actually get some hands-on time with it. Yeah, let me see here. No. Oh man. I don't think it is going to be at PAX East. There's an entire ESO food truck page, and it looks like it's just South by Southwest, PAX Boston, UMass. They're going to UMass, but not PAX East.
No, PAX Boston is PAX East.
No, I'm an idiot.
You knucklehead.
PAX Boston. Right, yeah. So, okay, good. Then it's going to be there. So we'll get to...
Where is Boston?
Well, to me, it's south of me, so... I'm not that stupid. I'm just kidding.
So that's PAX South. That's why they say
PAX South. Exactly.
You, it's PAX South. Yeah.
So that's cool. We'll actually. I'm excited now. I hope they make a good grilled cheese sandwich and pesto sauce.
I cannot.
That actually
believe
sounds
good. We're starting this podcast out with, "Hey, what kind of food can you get from the Elder Scrolls truck?"
It's legitimate. This is legitimate discussion. All right, so yes, they're going to be at PAX East. You're going to have access to play the game if you happen to attend the event. And if, in case you were wondering, right now I'm dealing with this myself. The tickets have sold out, so I want to go, but I don't currently have a ticket to PAX East. I'm searching through avenues and venues and finding myself a ticket. I think I'll be able to. I think I'll still be able to attend if I beg enough people. So we're going to see. Jesse, of course, being a prepared individual, purchased his ticket ahead of time, and he's all set.
You kidding me? I applied for a press pass like 5 months ago.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even mess with that stuff.
Well, this is just like me personally. I procrastinate everything.
You can't do that, man. You can't do that.
My car's uninspected. It's been like that for a while. I just put things off. That's all. You know.
That's one thing that I'm a little I'm a little mad about is. Sorry, this is way off topic. Chat just keyed in on something. They don't have sweet rolls on that truck, man.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. That
they're missing out.
They've got a pesto sauce and no sweet roll.
They could literally go down the street, buy a bunch of those honey buns for like 50 cents a pop, and sell them for $1.
Oh,
like it's my sweet rolls.
So I have an idea. We're gonna be at PAX East, and just to the left of the food truck, we're gonna set up a stand.
Call it even better Elder Scrolls food truck.
We're gonna sell sweet rolls and skooma. So
we would make a fortune.
we will have all the sugary delectables between the frosting on the sweet roll and the cinnamon, and then we've got our pop rock skooma or beverage. Have we determined yet what it is? Did anyone in chat say what skooma is supposed to be? Beverage or consumable?
No one knows.
Whatever. But
Skooma's just a thing.
We'll just label something skooma, and I think we can make a fortune off of that. And we'll just pretend that we'll just talk about Elder Scrolls Online like we know what we're saying, just kind of like what we do here. And I think it could come off as legitimate. I'm sure we wouldn't run into any problems.
I have an Elder Scrolls jacket, so I mean,
there you go.
I can pretend like I work there. yeah. I'll do my Khajiit impression, like, hey, we work here. ZeniMax #1. And we'll sell stuff.
Oh man, too much. There you go. That's exciting. I think we've got a good plan. Pull it off without a hitch. All right, so speaking of playing the Elder Scrolls Online, besides having an opportunity to do so at PAX East, there is going to be the beta, which is supposed to be starting at the end of this month. They're going to begin doing beta invites. There was an article that actually got posted up on last Friday, and we didn't end up doing the cast just because I think I guess I haven't addressed this yet here, so let me go ahead and do so. Because information has been so sparse on the game, kind of going to potentially an every other week format, at least for the time being, until we get more information, because there's literally just the slowest trickle. I think that's probably going to change really soon, though, because, again, the beta is going to begin at the end of this month, and so with the start of the beta, I expect to start to get more and more information from the game on a more frequent basis, and that would actually make it so that it makes sense to have it every week again. So that's just sort of tentative plan. I'll let everyone know if that changes at all, but Point being, there was an article that went up last Friday on the 1st, and it talked about the fact that the beta is going to begin, and it just mentions again that you can go ahead and sign up on the website. They talked about pretty much everything we already know. The fact that they're going to be doing this in small segments. They're going to be specific beta events that take place. And they're going to start off kind of slow. They'll maybe do, it looks like 1 or 2 events a month where they test the starting zone of the Nords, or they test this particular dungeon, or they test this particular class. And they're going to do these beta events for probably a couple of days. It seems like they're just going to start off with weekend beta events. And then eventually, as time goes on, they're going to open it up a little more, do these events more frequently. And then their big push is going to be for when they test the PvP in Cyrodiil, at which point they're going to be inviting thousands and thousands of players just so they can push the mega server to hopefully capacity as far as they can get it, invite as many people as possible, and beyond that, of course, people will just be excited to get to play the game. So if you haven't already registered, obviously you want to go ahead and do so. And again, like I said at the start of this cast, Jesse, this is a pretty exciting month. And as much as I always said to myself, oh, it's going to be soon, it seems like it's coming quick. It seems like, wow, we're really going to get to play the game very, very soon. Which, again, keeping our fingers crossed, hoping that it turns out to be as great of a game as we would like it to be, and as it could potentially be as well. So yeah, very soon. I can't wait. My fraps is ready.
I hope sooner than later soon, because what they're saying we're going to get to play, I hope is going to be more in depth than what is listed there. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, right. I think the other thing too to keep in mind is just because it's starting so soon, just because the beta is starting this month, the beta events, that doesn't necessarily mean like we're going to get a summertime release or anything. I mean, like Jesse, you just said in the last podcast, you don't think it's going to be out until maybe like November or December. So you were even pushing it into 2014. Potentially.
So what they're saying is that it's not calling it a beta test that people are used to. I think we can't say that, because when people say beta now, they are thinking of pre-release, getting to see the world, do all this stuff, like hype for the actual game.
Right.
When they're talking beta tests here, they're saying, we're going to let you run this dungeon, and we want to see if it works.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very limited, and that's what I was trying to get at is, I'm very excited for this, but at the same time, it's not a legit... Well, okay, it is a legit beta, but it's not the beta that you're used to, I guess.
I think the terminology that I equate to this more than I do beta testing, it's more like, I consider it more like focus testing. They're literally like honing in on these particular aspects of the game and trying to make sure that it works, that it's fun, that like all the elements that they're trying to put into the Elder Scrolls Online are in these specific segments. And then later on, maybe it'll be more like a traditional MMO where the first, maybe the few weeks coming up to the game's launch, they do a sort of open beta thing where everyone's just maybe say everyone who pre-orders the game can hop in and play it for those few weeks just to try it out. I mean, I expect to see something like that eventually. But yeah, for now, it's going to just be this small segmented, fragmented test. And again, it's only going to start off with a couple a month, so it's not like we're going to be seeing a ton of it. Someone asked in the chat whether the layperson will be able to record footage and post it online. I don't know if they're going to do an NDA or not. I almost assume that they will, though, which I don't want it to be the case because I'd love to record and put up footage, but it seems like in a lot of games like this, the early part of the public testing is under NDA, which means pretty much no footage allowed at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it this go around.
Yeah, at least not early on.
Yeah. Again, that's why I think the new use of beta changes the terminology of what a beta is, even though betas are still betas. It's enough, developers have made using the word beta very difficult. I don't even know how to describe it sometimes, because a beta should be what ESO's about to do, where it's like we're going to focus test some things, but it's been so convoluted with hey, if you pre-ordered, you get to play early, and that's the beta. So
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't know if it's really that big of a deal. Like, I don't know that I care that the definition of beta has sort of changed over time. but it is important to at least note that that's the case. So like beta is often used more of a hype mechanic, like Jesse said, whereas traditionally beta testing was pretty limited. You weren't allowed to take footage, and it was literally for testing the game to make sure, again, it's fun and it works and all that stuff. And I think that's more what we're going to be seeing, at least in the onset here. Maybe that'll change later on, though. Right. Okay, we've got another developer question of the week, which we can take a brief look at and then respond to. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that up here, and then we will give our personal answers to it.
Wonderful.
Okay, let's bring it up here.
Hi, my name's Cody Wright, and I'm a world builder on ZeniMax Online Studios' The Elder Scrolls Online. Much of Tamriel is untamed, and many dangerous creatures roam the land. What creature from The Elder Scrolls would you be most afraid to encounter in the wild?
Ooh, spooky. Okay, so what creatures would we be most afraid of to encounter in the wild? Well, I think the easy answer is like, a dragon. Like if there's a dragon, you're screwed, right? But I don't know. I want to dig a little bit deeper than that. Is there anything come to mind immediately for you?
I would say the most dangerous prey of all, man.
Okay.
No, I honestly, I mean, I would say that it's something that we've probably seen before, like in the previous Elder Scrolls games. But I'm hoping that there's something amazing that we have never seen.
Yo, but I think this is Jesse. I think you're missing the point here. They want to know what are you most frightened of? If you were,
sharks. If they have sharks in this game, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm gone. But sharks and we do not get along.
I think we've had this conversation before about your fear of sharks. All right, let me focus this a little more.
Okay.
Something within the Elder Scrolls universe.
Are you saying there aren't sharks in Elder Scrolls?
I don't think so. Are there? There are mud crabs. How about a giant mud crab? Would you be?
Those are just as bad.
Yeah.
Giant enemy crabs. I don't know if I'm afraid of those. I don't know if that's the case.
Did you see the Skyrim Game Jam video where they showed all the different things that they were like working on for the game, all the different concepts they were thinking about incorporating into the game?
I did, in fact, see that. Yes.
Do you remember the giant mud crab? Because that was one of them, and that was frightening. I would legitimately be scared of that. I don't know.
I think that's I would love that concept in Skyrim if there were enemies, they just said, you know what, we're gonna make them world size,
just massive.
That'd be wonderful.
I mean, that would massive, like really, really massive. I've played plenty of RPGs and MMOs, and they've got these characters that they call them big and stuff, but they're still kind of, it's not that big, not that imposing. But I remember seeing that giant ass mud crab in that Game Jam video and thinking, oh, holy crap, that is terrifying, and I would hate to. Obviously, in real life, that'd be scary. I think I'm trying to, besides dragons, which are obviously terrifying in their own right.
I saw a lich that I thought was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not terrified of that. I feel like I can kick this guy's ass. That's because he's evil and good always wins. So I feel like
is this in the real world or fantasy world? Good always wins.
It's
okay,
fact.
Fact. All right.
It's fact. Bad things happen, but good always wins in the end.
I'll make sure to edit.
Life. That's life fact.
Is that in Wikipedia? Because if it's not there, then it's.
It's inherently in Wikipedia. Honestly, I mean,
vampires and werewolves, yeah, those are kind of scary, but those are like, it's okay.
But I'm not like horrified of them. Like, I gotta watch it. If anything,
I feel like I could fight a vampire. A werewolf, right? I'm a little more scared of, but I think I could fend off a vampire.
Unless it was a hot vampire, then I would just fall under her sway.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't. That's more like a siren, though, right? That's not.
I'd be like, make me your Bella.
Yeah, I don't know. The Draugr or whatever, however you pronounce those zombie skeleton dudes in the crypts of Skyrim.
Those don't frighten
Well,
me.
they're like slow, and you can chop their head off. So those aren't really.
And all the Dwemer things, I'm not afraid of them because they're just constructs.
All you need is like an EMP, and you just take all of them
Right?
out. So I mean,
Just EMP, come on, everyone.
because everyone walks around with an EMP.
Yeah.
Which actually reminds me of something I've heard. Have you heard of like cell phone jammers? Have you seen those before?
Long time ago, I was reading an article about a guy who used to drive around. I don't know what city it was, but he had a cell phone jammer in his car.
Oh my God.
And it was so people around him couldn't use their phones while driving, so they'd actually have to drive instead of talk on the phone.
Right.
And what happened is it caused more crashes because people were trying to figure out why their phones weren't working. So they kept smashing into
What's
people.
going on here? Yeah.
They're also very illegal in the United States.
Well, I'd like to think that's what would happen. Like, if you had one of those devices and you were going through a Duhamel cave, they would all be like, why aren't my cell phones working? And then you could just sneak by them. So.
That's actually what killed them.
Right.
Cell phone
That's
radiation
why they
killed off the Dwemer.
Right.
True fact.
Yeah. Absolutely. Fantastic. I don't know what I'd be. I don't know what I'd be most scared of. I think
I'm most afraid of that in the previews they have that hot like spider chick.
you're
It's frightening.
You were
it's
just
frightening because she's half woman, half spider, and I don't know. Things like that shouldn't exist because she's hot yet a spider.
See, Jesse is I'm calling it now. Jesse is going to die to some female assassin because he's such a sucker. Anything mildly, even if he knows it's dangerous, there's gonna be some girl walking at you with like 13-inch butcher blades, and you're like, oh wow, you're kind of good looking. You want to go, and she's gonna stab you in the face. And like you can't.
And then I'll be like, so is that a yes?
Oh, I see what you do. Penetration. I got it. All right, yeah. She's not. That's Jesse. You need to get over that. That's a problem.
I didn't do it. I didn't say anything. Who are you talking to?
No.
What is happening right now?
No, I'm talking about your problem with these dangerous things that are attractive. So they lure you in. You just need to realize. Just think. Just as a general rule of thumb, if it's attractive, it's probably dangerous. It's probably bad for you.
Yeah.
At the very least, it's snobby.
Fun. That's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. All right. So that's what we're scared of: attractive spider ladies.
Look, if you're an attractive spider lady, know that 1, I'm frightened of you, and 2, I love you so much.
Something really cool, which I just wanted to make people aware of if they haven't seen it. I really like music, and I really, really like fantasy-driven music as well. In a lot of games, I love the soundtrack to Darksiders 2. I think that was freaking amazing. I like the soundtrack to Skyrim. Just fantasy-based music, I think, is really cool. We've got some fan-made Elder Scrolls Online music, which I guess I could just play.
Really?
I guess I could just play here in the background. Do you want a link to that? Is that what you said?
Send it. Sure.
I thought you said something. I don't.
I said really.
Yeah. So I'll just send you that link. But I'm gonna play it here, and I'm not gonna do a full screen because I want you guys to see the name of the video, so you can go check it out yourself. Full credit to Matthew Shine is the name of the. I suppose we'll call him a composer, and he made Elder Scrolls Online themed music for the Almeri. I just wanted to listen to it here, and I think the first comment said, I don't know if I will take it this far, but the first comment said, the top comment said, I've listened to a lot of soundtracks for a lot of games, and you have done something with this soundtrack that other people haven't been able to. It actually made me cry, so that was kind of sweet, but that was the top comment. But it's good. It's something that sort of pulls you in, and I like music like that. You can sort of paint a picture with your mind, if you will. Can you see it? Beyond the picture that's on the screen, can you see it with your mind? Close your eyes. You've got the rolling hills of the Almeri Dominion. There's butterflies flapping, Maybe there's a deer.
Well, now I can picture.
Maybe there's a deer. No, butterfly. There's space butterflies flapping.
Yes, I see it.
Deer
now.
walking through the. I don't know. I just think it's good. I thought it's pretty short. It's only 3 minutes long, but I just wanted to show it to you guys watching, so you could maybe go check it out, give them a thumbs up, be like, hey, cool music, good job. Got to support our artists, It's an important thing. So yeah, that's cool. I like that. Jesse doesn't have anything to say.
I'm listening
He's
to
too
it.
enthralled.
I'm sorry. I'm behind because I'm listening to it through the thing. Through your channel there.
Well, I've lowered the volume so you cannot hear it anymore.
Well, now I can't. You
Can
suck.
get back on track. Fan-made music once again by Matthew Shine, titled The Elder Scrolls Online Music Aldmiri fan-made. Go check it out here on the YouTubes. Give him some credit. It's good stuff there. And also some artistic things to go in line with this. We have a new wallpaper that got posted up on the official Elder Scrolls Online website. This one depicting a Cyrodiil PvP. It's basically depicting a siege battle there. We've got the catapults and they're sieging into a city. So, I mean, this leads me to, I know they've said it before, and we actually have seen footage of it as well. In the footage that was available, we've got that like 8 or 9 minute footage video that we continuously play on this podcast because we've got no other footage to show of the game. But in that, during the PvP section, they show catapults sort of breaking down the walls of a city and then people streaming on in. And this is just sort of wallpaper to go in line with that. So some wallpaper for you guys. I always do wallpaper for like my currently played game. It's a weird habit of mine, but currently I've got some Tomb Raider wallpaper because I'm enjoying that game. Did you get that yet?
Yeah, that's the reason why.
Right.
Currently playing, yeah.
No, it's good. It's a good game. It's that all that stuff is kind of creepy. You guys do that, and you're kind of creepy, Jesse.
I'm not doing nothing. my background's still that Windows background that they give me
No,
for free.
it's not. I don't believe you.
It is.
You don't do wallpaper things on your.
Nope. Nope. I do not.
You have no soul.
I don't. I'm not very creative.
That's your problem. But anyways, yeah, new wallpaper, so you can throw that on your desktop. Unless you're Jesse, you can have that stupid blue cloud.
It's a field. It's
All right.
green field.
Is there anything? Is there anything in the field?
Grass.
I hate you. All right. All right. Last up in news, I wanted to let you guys know about an interview that was done and posted over on Tamriel Foundry. This is an interview with Dan Duhamel. He is the technical director of ZeniMax Online Studios. And in the interview, they talk. It's all technical stuff, as you would assume, given his job description. But they talk about a couple things. They talk about the mega server, the implementation of it, and sort of what they hope to do with it. One of the things that he points to is, MMOs, as fun as the single server was in certain aspects, there was just some really big drawbacks to it. Specifically, empty servers were just terrible to play on. So he talks about that and how they're trying to alleviate that with the mega server. They also go on to talk about how the game does have a dedicated engine. They basically built an engine from scratch for this game as opposed to using an existing engine. And if you don't really understand technical side of gaming, a lot of times there are engines that a company will create for a game and then license out to other people to build games with that engine. So big ones will be like the Unreal Engine, for example, something that's used quite often, or Unity or something. Well, when a developer decides to make their own engine, it obviously, as you would assume, takes a lot more time because they've got to build something from scratch. But also they can build it to their specifications and specifically for their game. And that's something that they're trying to do with this game in building the engine because it's an MMO, trying to make sure that it's going to be able to run on a wide array of systems. They also said that they have licensed certain aspects of it from other engines, but it is also unique to this game as well. And then lastly, something else they talked about there is how the game is going to run with all this engine discussion, how the game's going to run either in the solo experience or in big group PvP. And something that was actually said at E3 last year is that they throw out this number saying that in PvP, you're going to be able to have 200 players on the screen simultaneously. And some people heard that and they're like, well, that doesn't sound like a lot. Like, I thought we were going to be playing with thousands of players. He basically explained a little further that 200 players is essentially the benchmark that they're doing for running at a smooth FPS or full FPS. And then beyond that, things might start to get a little choppier, or you're going to have to scale things down or whatever, but that's basically the benchmark. If you think about it, though, 200 players on a screen at once is sort of a lot. Like, that's... Right. I can't think of many other situations...
Yeah.
I can't think of many situations in any game that I've played where you're going to have more than 200 players on screen. And someone would say, well, EVE Online has thousands. But yeah, but EVE Online are these, like, you've got these, like, little specks of shit. I mean, come on, it's a spreadsheet. To having 200 fully rendered characters with, you know, their Tress FX flowing hair and all their gear and weapon and like all these animations and stuff, like that's actually a fairly significant amount, and I think that's a fine benchmark. I can't envision many situations where it's going to be many more than that. So,
No, I agree. You're right.
I think that'll be fun. But yeah, if you guys wanted to read over the interview, once again, that's over on TamrielFoundry.com, an interview with Dan Dunham, going into some of the technical aspects of the mega server, the game's engine, and then how it's going to run on various systems. And he just sort of said what you expect in terms of that we're going to try to run on low-end systems and high-end systems, basically anything, any computer purchased or built within the past 4 or 5 years. So if you've got a 10-year-old computer, you might have a hard time, but more recent one, you should pretty much be all set. All right, that's going to do it for Elder Scrolls Online news. Now I wanted to move into the discussion portion of the show. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is a little post that went up on the Reddit sub-forum for the Elder Scrolls Online talking about rare weapons. And what the discussion was is that some people really want to see like true rare weapons in the game. And we're talking about like one of a kind or incredibly difficult to find rare weapons. And, you know, immediately when reading this, the first thing I thought about was back in my WoW days, things like the Hand of Ragnar, so I think that's what it was called, or Sulphurous Hammer or whatever. And Thunder Fury, that's another one. Like these like crazy legendary weapons that take an entire guild and raids over several months to even have an opportunity to craft. Did you personally, Jesse, I'm not asking if you had any of those weapons, but were you ever in a situation where like someone in your guild was going for that or anything of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, I was never granted the opportunity to own such a wonderful weapon.
Right.
But that's because 90% of them were not for healers. And if they were for a healer, they weren't for shamans, so we got shafted. But
that's actually that's something I didn't even think about in this discussion, but that's a good point. It would be great if they're going to have these, if this game's going to promote ultra rare weapons, if they've got some for sort of every character archetype.
Honestly, I would say that if you got a weapon, because you can hold every weapon, you can use every weapon in this game, that if they had a weapon, whatever that weapon was, at least you should have the opportunity to craft the stats in a certain way so that it fits how you play your character. So if it's a staff and you are a tank, you can in some way craft it so it will benefit you the same way a sword and shield would, for example.
Sort of like re-roll the stats or whatever so that it fits your character class.
Yeah, so you might be the only person on the server to have the weapon, but at least it's valuable for you so that everyone wants to get it and everyone's involved with the process of getting it. So It isn't just like, there's a staff but only one class can use it, which would be dumb.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but yeah, I was part of all of that awfulness in WoW, especially people trying to get the Ashbringer back when that was a thing.
Oh man!
And that quest line.
I can't believe you brought that up. Let me tell you about the Ash. So before it was like a legitimate thing. It was a legitimate thing at one point, right? Like it was a real.
It was for the longest time. It was like parts and bits of a quest.
Right.
And then finally they were like, "We're gonna make it a real thing now," and it was so silly because. Yeah, all of it's nuts.
This just tells you how at the time how inexperienced I was with MMOs, or maybe just the fact that I was so drawn in. I remember reading through the WoW forums, and there was this one post where people were talking about the history of the Ashbringer and how if you fish in this certain location, that you could eventually pick up the plans, and then the plans would lead you to, like a treasure map or whatever, and then the plans would lead you to this, and if you and like this was before it was a real thing where you can actually.
Well, what it was is because, and chat's right. What it was is you got the corrupted Ashbringer, so the corrupted Ashbringer would whisper you and talk to you and stuff like that, and the whole lore of everything that people were talking about was Blizzard literally said at one point that there was a way to get the corrupted Ashbringer uncorrupted. And that's what people are trying to do. So that's where all that like rumor. I don't know if they ever had a way actually in the game, but I think they had planned it out. But everyone thought that what they said meant there was a way to do it in the game, and no one knew how. But so people kept actively trying to find a way.
I guess this was before that. Like this was a delusion. This was like MythBusters or whatever. This was before the corrupted Ashbringer actually existed in the game. I read this long like pages and pages of like this history of the Ashbringer and talking about like how if you fish an STV or something you could pull up like it was ridiculous. And I remember probably spending a good solid week like trying to find before an item actually existed in the game. Before anyone had ever found it, you know what I mean? Before anything ever existed,
Well,
I was like, I'm gonna be the first to find it. Like I'm gonna, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna fish it up from STV. I'm gonna kill all the goblins in Booty Bay. Like that's like, it was. I guess the point is like it was such a cool, immersive experience for me. And let me say something. I'm the furthest from like an RP gamer. That's just not my thing. But that was a really immersive experience for me when I was really first getting into the MMO genre. I'd played some before then, but not to the extent that I'd played WoW. And I thought that was so cool. And I think that would be really cool if they dropped hints of stuff like that you could get in some obscure way. You don't go to the biggest dungeon and kill the last boss and get it. Like something that could be gotten through obscurity that you'd really have to hunt for. That would be awesome.
I think what you're talking about when it comes to that bit in WoW, and it works very well on MMOs because the world's so big that people can't necessarily prove anything, and so rumors are always abounds. But what you're talking about is something I watched a very cool video that was this developer talking about video games and how people, when they create a world, I wish I could remember what the original guy's name was, but the video was one of the developers from Dead Space talking about the world that they had created in the Dead Space universe. And they were going on and on and on, but at one point someone asked the question about ping. And if you ever played Dead Space, you know exactly what ping is because you don't know what it is. Like, it's just this thing, like, there are posters everywhere, and it always features an attractive woman. It says, like, ping, you know you want it. Or ping, there's always ping. So, like, weird messages throughout the world. And no one knows what it means. It just exists. And so everyone makes up stories or creates reasons why it's there, yet it's never explained in the game. It's never addressed. It's just a thing that exists, right?
Yeah.
Well, in this press conference or this developer talk this guy was giving, he said that he went to another developer's talk, and I wish I could remember who it was. I really wish I do, because the guy's a genius and he's right on. But basically, he was talking to all these other developers, and the guys who made Dead Space were in the crowd, and they were like, holy crap, this guy's a genius. Because what he said was, whenever you make a world, it doesn't even matter what world it is. It can be a horror game, or it can be like a fantasy game, whatever. Make something that goes totally against whatever you're doing. Something that is so out of place, but never mention it. And do that, and fans of your series will be even more immersed because it's something that's not explained, and they're like, I have to figure this out. And he gave an example of how in one game, like, imagine you're making a war game, and there's a bunch of tanks. Like, you have to stop these tanks, right? We'll have one of the tanks drive left off the screen, and everyone in their mind will say, at some point, that tank's going to show up again, right? Why do that? But just don't. Just don't do anything with it, and people will assume it's there the entire time, waiting to attack, but they just won't mess with it. And it's that kind of thing that you're talking about when it comes to WoW, which is, they really, at the beginning, there was no hint of the Ashbringer. Like, there was talk about it, of characters talking, but no one assumed, like, you could get it. It was just NPC chatter. But people were like, holy crap, what if? And then it just built on itself and built on itself and built on itself. And I think that's... you can expect a ton of that in Elder Scrolls Online. I hope it's going to happen.
And like, especially with the so much lore in the Elder Scrolls universe, and they've got so much to pull from that they could drop hints. And I get what you're saying about the Dead Space thing, but I think the effect is amplified even more so in an MMO because in a game like
that's
Dead
what
Space,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, a really great example was in WoW. They had, I don't know, I'm sure everyone saw this at some point, but there's two locations I can think of off the top of my head. One, in Tirisfal Glade, there is an area that is way far to the west. Like, it was off the map, and a lot of people are like, oh my god, that's where an old god's hidden. Like, lore was built around this one little circular area. So when finally they let flying mounts be available in Azeroth, you could fly to this area. And when you got there, there was a little, like, circle of of fairy dragons that would appear every so often and like summon something and then fly away, and no one knew what this was. It served no purpose. The developers clearly put it there just to mess with you, but so much fake lore was built around that moment that it became reality, and people were like, oh, there's something there, and if you wait long enough, something will show up.
Right.
There are all these crazy things, just like the place near Stormwind that had the kids that would like summon the devil thing.
Oh, there was. I remember.
Like the demon kids.
This is the great thing about MMOs, because they can put in these little like Easter eggs that the community will build stories around.
Exactly, and that's you are guaranteed to have that happen. And what I would hope that Elder Scrolls. Look, I know you're listening. Just follow me here.
Let's not kid anyone.
Guys. This is what I want you to do. I want this so badly. Let that happen. Let stuff like that, let the rumors fly, let stuff, but actually have stuff connected to them.
Right.
So like even the tiniest bit of a hint actually leads to something amazing. So rather than just have it there messing with gamers, actually have it like, you know, I saw this one thing happen one time, it was crazy, and I followed through on it, and oh my god, it led me to something amazing. Like those moments are what would set this game apart.
Yeah.
It would make it amazing.
I agree. And because I could talk about this for a full hour itself. I think we should save it for another podcast. But you mentioned flying mounts for this particular thing, and WoW. I think flying mounts kill MMOs, and
Don't do it.
I pray to God that they never have flying mounts. Just in like a sentence or two to describe why, I think it kills the sense of scale, and I think it breaks immersion, being able to fly over everything. You know, in MMOs that don't have flying mounts, you've got these giant hills and all this stuff that is difficult to reach to. When you can just hop over, I think it ruins it. And I think this would be a great discussion for another MMO, but I don't know if you're on board with that either, but I hate flying mounts in MMOs.
You're absolutely right. I think flying mounts are stretching it too far, but another example would be the lack of mounts. Like, one of the things I hate about Guild Wars 2 is the world's so big, you spend so much time just, like, PvPing. You spend so much time running because there's no place to warp into unless you're well into an actual, like, world v world match. And if you're in Cyrodiil, and it's as big as they claim it to be, then that's going to be a problem after a while.
Right. And that's actually another huge problem with flying mounts that I have, is that when you just have ground mounts, PvP is intense, and if you're getting ganked, like it creates this stress between the players, which is actually like a good kind of stress because it makes things more exciting. When you've got flying mounts, if you see someone come at you, you hop on your flying mount, you fly away, no problem. Like that ruins it.
And I'm not even saying like, hey, we need 80 different types of mounts. If everyone got horses and you could just put different colors on those horses, I'd be just fine.
That's
like
that fits the lore. So I don't need to ride giant sexy spider ladies. Like
I do.
That doesn't need to be a type of mount. But no, you're right. I agree with you. And I think if they just had horses, that'd be fine. But dear God, and just not even ZeniMax. If any person who's thinking about doing MMOs in the future, in the sense that they've been done in the past, don't include anything that can break the sense of scale and wonder of your world, because I think that's something that has killed MMOs for me in the past. Being able to just see and fly over everything, I think it's terrible. So
here's another thing I would suggest. Don't create vehicles if you can't get in them. That is the biggest pet peeve I have of any and all MMOs. Every MMO...
Can you set an example? I need something here.
Oh my god. In Guild Wars 2, the many of the races have various construct vehicles that you can never get in. Like, my brain just died, and I'm trying to think of the Tiger Men. Help me out, Internet. They have giant war machines, and they serve no purpose except to be background scenery.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy. If you're going to make stuff like that, make it so we can use them at some point. That would be nice. And so that's why I hope that, you know, they create something. Yeah, tanks and vanilla WoW. They create something we can use. If you're going to give us mounts, right, give us mounts. If you're going to give us background stuff, give it, like, make it a house. I'd rather look at a house than something I'll never be able to use.
Yeah, that's a good point. I agree with you. I just like I said, I think this is gonna be a great discussion for like a full discussion piece in an episode. But man, flying mounts, my bane. So much wrong with them. And actually, that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. Unfortunately, I don't know if people just didn't get the memo, but we usually answer Q&A questions over on the Facebook page, which you can find a link to at the top of the channel here. But there's no questions for us this week, Jesse, so...
That's because we might have started this very, very, very late.
Yeah, that probably has something to do with it, too. But...
What are you going to do? But what that means is next week we'll have a ton of them.
Right, so for future...
Right, like, literally right now, people are going to go write questions.
Right, but for future episodes, if you guys can just head on over to the Facebook page, once again, the link's at the top of the YouTube channel here, and leave a question in the post that is talking about Elder Scrolls going live. If you leave a question there, then we'll try to answer those at the end of the show. But hey, this was a good podcast. This was fun. I'm so excited for the game, and I try to curb my enthusiasm. Great show, by the way. But I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. I just hope. I'm keeping my fingers crossed it turns out to be great. It's going to be great or it's going to be a flop.
Let's hope great, because the base material they have to work with is stellar.
Yep.
And it's all up to them.
I don't want them just cashing in on the name. I want them to... And I believe that they're working hard and they're trying to build something they're proud of, but I hope that translates, I guess.
We'll find out at the end of the month exactly what they've got done so far.
Yes, we will.
I'll be there, and I'll be like, hey, what's up? You can't see it, but that's me mashing my fist.
We'll be there at the Sweet Roll booth to the left of the food truck, so
yes.
You can come say
that's
hi.
What I'll say to you when you come. Be like, hey, I'll be like, hey, what's up?
Khajiit voice, you gotta do it.
You like sweet roll?
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Elder Scrolls Online podcast. Thank you so much for watching. I'll try to do a show next week. We will, as long as content exists. If it has to get pushed back, I'll let you know. But I want content to be there so we can make a cast, so we can talk about stuff. That's that.
Right now, we're not talking to the listeners. We're talking to a select few people. We would like content to exist. Thank you.
Exactly. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Tune in for more Elder Scrolls Online podcasts in the future. Once again, this has been Dennis Force Duhamel, joined by Jesse Cox. We will see you next time.
Goodbye. Kaji.